The Airbus A380 was meant to be the future of air travel, the world's biggest passenger jet, a double-deck giant airlines couldn't resist. But when Airbus came calling in Hong Kong, Cathay Pacific quietly said no. No headlines, no flagship superjumbo, just silence. At the time, it looked like hesitation. Today, it looks like foresight. So, why did one of Asia's most prestigious airlines reject the aircraft everyone else wanted? And what does that decision reveal about the brutal choices airlines have to make? In the early 2000s, Airbus executives land in Hong Kong with their A380 presentation. The pitch is flawless. Cathay operates dense long-haul routes such as Hong Kong to London and Sydney multiple times per day, with airports like Heathrow, where bigger aircraft mean more revenue per landing slot. Its passenger base skews premium, exactly what the A380's luxury cabins were designed for. Aviation analysts watch and wait. This feels inevitable. Board meetings happen behind closed doors, route studies are commissioned, financial models run scenario after scenario. Everyone expects Cathay to join the A380 launch customer club, alongside Singapore Airlines and Emirates. The announcement never comes. But here's what really happened in those boardrooms, and why Cathay's rejection became the most profitable decision they never publicized. Firstly, Hong Kong isn't Dubai. Emirates built its A380 empire on perfect geography. Dubai sits at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Massive transfer flows in every direction. London passengers connecting to Bangkok, Mumbai travelers heading to New York, Frankfurt business heading to Singapore. When you're processing that much connecting traffic, you need big planes. Hong Kong operates completely differently. Cathay serves 190 destinations from its fortress hub. The numbers expose the flaw. How many passengers really connect through Hong Kong when direct flights exist? Or from North America to Southeast Asia when Seoul and Tokyo offer better routings? Hong Kong's colonial trading post geography didn't translate into 21st century superconnector status. To profitably fill 500 plus A380 seats, you need either massive local demand or huge transfer volumes. Hong Kong has strong demand for local and connecting traffic into China, but nowhere near the volume of Dubai. The route planners knew it, financial analysts confirmed it, but there was an even bigger issue Airbus completely overlooked. While Emirates thought capacity, Cathay thought frequency. Instead of one massive A380 to London, Cathay preferred multiple daily 777 flights. More departure times, more premium seats distributed across schedules, more flexibility for time-sensitive business travelers. Look at its actual London operation today. Rather than gambling on one 500-seat superjumbo, they offer departures at 8 a.m., 1:25 p.m., 10:40 p.m., and 11:15 p.m. with A350-1000s or 777-300ERs. Business travelers don't care about aircraft glamour, they care about catching the flight that fits their schedule. The A380 would have created what Cathay's planners called limited flexibility. One departure, one arrival. Hope your demand forecasting was perfect, miss projections by 20%. You're flying a half-empty double-decker, burning fuel on 4 engines. Multiple frequencies gave Cathay dynamic flexibility. High demand day, add an extra rotation. Slow period, drop a flight. Try adjusting A380 capacity that quickly. But the frequency strategy revealed something even more important about Cathay's business model, something that would prove crucial when a crisis hit. The A380's list price reached $445.6 million by 2018, though actual transaction prices were typically much lower. But price wasn't the real issue. The killer was operational complexity. 4 engines instead of 2, specialized ground equipment, dedicated maintenance hangars, pilot training programs for maybe 8 to 12 aircraft. Any airline's detailed analysis revealed brutal math. A small A380 subfleet meant disproportionately high fixed costs, spare parts inventory sitting in warehouses, specialized tooling, ground handling equipment at every destination, training programs for pilots and cabin crew, all spread across just a handful of aircraft. Meanwhile, its 777-300 and 777-300ER fleet has peaked at over 50 aircraft. Economies of scale in maintenance, pilot flexibility between variants, common spares inventory, better utilization because more routes could handle a 777 than an A380. Industry analysis showed A380 operations became economically viable only above certain fleet size thresholds Cathay was unlikely to reach given their route network. The airline avoided this trap entirely by sticking with core fleet families. But here's where Cathay's rejection gets really interesting. It had an advantage that Airbus completely underestimated. Unlike Heathrow or JFK, Hong Kong International Airport wasn't severely slot constrained during the early days of the A380. Cathay could operate multiple frequencies, with priority as the home carrier. This eliminated one of the A380's key selling points. At slot-restricted airports, bigger aircraft make sense. Maximize passenger capacity within limited landing opportunities. But in Hong Kong, Cathay had room to spread operations across the day. Why squeeze 500 passengers into a single A380 departure when you could offer 300-passenger 777 flights with better schedule spread and more premium seats? The airport infrastructure supported this strategy. Multiple runways, efficient turnarounds, less pressure to cram passengers per landing slot compared to Europe's congested megahubs. This operational flexibility extended beyond passenger operations. Some secondary cities in Cathay's Asian and North American network lacked the reinforced runways, wide taxiways, or large gates needed for A380 operations. The 777 and A350, with their smaller footprints, enabled seamless access to these destinations, expanding network reach. And this flexibility would prove prescient when the industry faced its biggest crisis. But first, Cathay had to solve a completely different strategic puzzle. Cathay's business model targeted premium passengers, not mass-market connecting traffic. Its long-haul cabins were premium-heavy, first-class suites, lie-flat business class, high-yield passengers willing to pay for direct flights and schedule convenience. The A380 was designed for Emirates strategy, or vice versa, filling massive economy sections with connecting passengers. Dubai to London with over 300 economy seats, banking on connecting fares from cities across the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Cathay's Hong Kong hub served premium origin destination markets with completely different passenger profiles. Business travelers flying Hong Kong to New York aren't price-sensitive backpackers looking for cheap connections. They're executives paying $8,000 for business class who want direct flights with convenient schedules. Cathay needed higher yields per passenger, premium cabins, direct routing, schedule flexibility. That meant multiple 777 departures throughout the day, not one giant A380 banking on volume economics. Unlike Asian peers, Malaysian Airlines and Thai Airways, whose A380 fleets underperformed with low utilization and early retirements, Cathay prioritized profitability over flagship prestige. This preserved financial health amid shifting market demands. But while Cathay was making these calculations, they were also watching its competitors very carefully. Singapore Airlines made the A380 work with Changi's strategic location and massive transfer traffic flows. Its hub-and-spoke model funneled passengers from across Southeast Asia through Singapore to long-haul destinations. Emirates perfected the A380 as Dubai's superhub connector, with state backing and geographic advantages between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Cathay studied both models and realized something crucial. Its business fundamentals were fundamentally different. It was not trying to be Emirates or Singapore Airlines, it was building something else entirely. Airbus assumed Asian megacities would demand giant hub-to-hub aircraft, but Cathay anticipated the shift to point-to-point travel and secondary hubs, where efficient twins like the 777 and A350 better served growing intra-Asian and long-haul flows. And that led to one of the most successful fleet strategies in aviation history. Instead of A380s, Cathay doubled down on twins. Boeing 777-300ERs became its long-haul backbone. Later, it added Airbus A350-900s and A350-1000s for efficiency on thinner routes. This gave them one of the world's most modern, fuel-efficient long-haul fleets. common pilot ratings between 777 variants, economies of scale in maintenance, flexibility to right-size aircraft to demand. The A350-1000 delivered 70% of an A380's capacity with 2 engines instead of 4, better fuel efficiency per seat, lower operating costs across the board, access to more airports worldwide. Not every destination could handle A380 operations, but here's the strategic key advantage: range flexibility. The A350-1000 could fly Hong Kong anywhere in North America non-stop, including secondary cities that could never justify A380 service. Routes like Hong Kong to Boston, Seattle, or Toronto became viable with efficient twins, but would never work with a 500-seat superjumbo. This gave Cathay network expansion opportunities that A380 operators simply couldn't match. While Emirates was voluntarily locked into major hub-to-hub routes, Cathay could serve thinner long-haul markets profitably. Cathay's A380 Rejection aligned with its doctrine of fleet simplification, avoiding small subfleets like the A340-600, retired in 2017 due to high costs, or prestige types like the 747-8i by relying on workhorse families, 777s, A350s, and A330s. It achieved economies in maintenance, training, and parts, and it avoided a maintenance nightmare that would prove devastating for competitors when the real test came. March 2020, COVID-19 grounds global aviation. A380 operators face a nightmare scenario. These massive aircraft were designed for high-density routes with strong demand. When passenger numbers collapsed by 90%, the A380 became economically impossible to operate. Emirates parked their entire A380 fleet for months. Singapore Airlines grounded theirs for over a year. Lufthansa permanently retired 6 aircraft. Air France accelerated retirement of its entire A380 fleet. Cathay Pacific, its twin-engine strategy aged beautifully. Avoiding A380 commitments allowed Cathay to accelerate older aircraft retirements and rely on twin jets during recovery, reaching 92% pre-pandemic capacity by mid-2025, faster than rivals burdened by grounded superjumbos. Lower fuel costs during reduced operations, better aircraft utilization on skeleton schedules, flexibility to adjust capacity as demand slowly recovered. While A380 operators struggled to justify 4-engine economics with 50% load factors, Cathay's 777s and A350s remained viable for reduced capacity operations. This flexibility extended to cargo operations. Cathay Pacific, a leading global cargo carrier, leveraged the 777-300ERs and A350's sustainable belly space for superior freight revenue flexibility compared to the A380. During COVID, this capability generated critical revenue, 35.8 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2021 alone, when passenger demand collapsed by 90%. The pandemic didn't just validate their decision, it proved their strategic intelligence. Today, the evidence is overwhelming. Emirates, the A380's biggest supporter, has announced strategic changes. It's introducing the A350 and is awaiting for 787 and 777X deliveries. Airlines worldwide are retiring A380s earlier than planned or struggling with utilization. Cathay Pacific operates one of the world's most efficient long-haul fleets. Its twin-engine strategy delivers lower costs, better flexibility, and superior profitability. During the industry's worst crisis, it proved that efficiency beats spectacle. Flexibility trumps capacity. Smart strategy wins over prestigious aircraft. Cathay Pacific's A380 Rejection wasn't about being conservative or unambitious, it was strategic intelligence. It understood its market. Hong Kong's geography could not support Dubai's transfer model. Its premium-focused network required frequency, not capacity. The economics of efficient twins beat one giant aircraft across their route structure. Most importantly, they avoided the trap of buying aircraft for prestige rather than profit. The A380 was a genuine marvel of aerospace engineering, but engineering excellence doesn't always mean profitable operations. It chose frequency over capacity, flexibility over spectacle, economics over ego, and when the biggest crisis in aviation history hit, that strategy saved them. Hey, before you go, the YouTube algorithm thinks you're going to like this video next, so why not check it out?